Hurricane Maria dumps pockets of moderate to heavy rain on Barbados overnight. The top story in your Barbados Today morning news update for Monday, September 18. Thanks for joining us. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Persons desirous of venturing out to sea are being told not to do so as Maria, the seventh hurricane of the 2017 Atlantic season, moves past Barbados. Met officials say the country will continue to feel some strong gusty winds at times and experience some very high swells. As such, a small craft warning and high surf advisory remains in effect until noon tomorrow. Maria began dumping pockets of moderate to heavy showers on parts of the island early yesterday afternoon as a tropical storm, prompting a flood warning and calls for residents in low-lying or flood-prone areas to remain vigilant.
The earth is already saturated, so any rain that falls will, compound the problem. So it doesn't take much to flood away certain parts of the island.
That was Acting Director of the Barbados Meteorological Service, Sonia Nurse. Officials at the Department of Emergency Management also urged residents not to be complacent and to contact the Royal Barbados Police Force, the Barbados Fire Service, or the Barbados Defence Force to report any damages or other incidents. Maria is moving towards the west-northwest near 13 miles per hour, and on this track, the center of the hurricane will move across the Leeward Islands tonight and then over the extreme northeastern Caribbean Sea on Tuesday. Maximum sustained winds continue to increase with higher gusts. Nurse says the current increase in activity in the Atlantic is nothing new as the season is now at its peak.
You tend to get the activity peaking, say, around the 10th of September. That's when the peak in the activity occurs, right? So you would notice that if you had to really go back and check year by year, you would tend to get a pickup in the number of systems out there occurring around this time, right? So it's not unusual. There are times where we had, I think it was back in '95, I think they had 3 systems out there, one behind the other, that also impacted Antigua and those places. So it's not unusual for this to occur around September.
Now, a number of hurricane-battered islands in the northern Caribbean are also expected to feel the effects of Hurricane Maria. According to reports, the Category 1 system is currently following roughly the same path as Hurricane Irma and is expected to strengthen over the next 48 hours. As a result, hurricane warnings have been issued for St. Kitts, Nevis, Montserrat, Dominica and Guadeloupe, while the British Virgin Islands, St. Martin, St. Barthélemy and Anguilla are on hurricane watch. Tropical storm warnings are in effect for Antigua and Barbuda, Martinique, Saba and St. Eustatius, as well as St. Lucia, where all schools, businesses and government offices will remain closed today. A tropical storm watch is in effect for St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
So all of the Leeward Islands are going to be in play, but also the U.S. Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico, as the storm is expected to strengthen as it gains more steam and hits some warmer water. So this is a look at the expected track, a Category 3 storm as it hits the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico and beyond, maintaining that strength, so winds in excess of 125 miles per hour. Taking a look at that expected path, then comparing it to Irma, you will notice very similar tracks there.
That report from the CNN. Now back at home, a crisis was averted yesterday afternoon when emergency personnel were called into action at Enterprise Christchurch, where several persons inhaled carbon monoxide. Barbados Today understands the incident occurred on a tour bus during the rain. The exhaust reportedly seeped back into the vehicle, affecting a number of persons. Ambulance personnel and police were summoned, and those affected were treated on the scene. Barbados has a new Miss Universe. She is 26-year-old Leslie Chapman Andrews, who not only walked away with the coveted crown and over $100,000 in prizes, but the Miss Congeniality title over the weekend. First runner-up was Jamila Ford and second runner-up was Shanice Neeson.
Fierce competition in a friendly, ladylike way, but also that they really wanted it. You know, you really have to be hungry for this and give it your all. Now, your all may not be the all that gets you over the line, but once you know you have maxed yourself out 110%, there's victory in that, and there's so much to be proud of. particularly from this year's delegation. We had 10 beautiful ladies. One, for health reasons, had to drop out, and we wish her the very, very best. Please feel free to come on back. And the other 9 were just amazing, with each other especially. That's one of the heartwarming things that I got to watch from behind the scenes that I really enjoyed.
That was the Public Relations Director of a Miss Universe Barbados pageant, Gaynell Marshall. In sports, West Indies beat England by 21 runs in a lone 2020 international over the weekend. Set 177 for victory, England were bowled out for 155 at Riverside. West Indies made 176 for 9. Barbadian Carlos Brathwaite hit 4 successive sixes off rival all-rounder Ben Stokes in a dramatic last over. The two teams now turn their attention to a 5-match one-day international series which begins in Manchester on Tuesday.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Hi.
Good morning, Phillips & Company, may I help? Oh, certainly. One moment, please. Miss Phillips?
Yeah?
There's a lady on the line from the Nation newspaper who would like to speak with you.
The Nation? Will she go on?
Well, they're trying to sell us some ads.
Look, don't make me laugh this morning. Ads in the Nation? They're real expensive, and for what here, nobody ain't buying them papers no more. Nobody want to steal news. I hear reading Barbados Today online for free. So I tell she thanks for calling, but no thanks. We just advertising Barbados Today, families. Tell she is Barbados Today all the way.
Okay, I'll pass on the message. Ma'am, are you still there? Oh, she put it down.
The Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To news from the region, swells generated by Hurricane Jose are affecting the northern Caribbean islands of Bermuda and the Bahamas. Forecasters at the Miami-based National Hurricane Center say those swells are likely to cause dangerous surf and rip current conditions over the next several days. Jose is moving towards the north near 9 miles per hour and packing 90 mile per hour winds with higher gusts. A number of U.S. states are under a tropical storm watch. And finally, British police were on Sunday searching a residential address in west of London following the arrest of a second man in connection with the bombing of an underground train on Friday. The 20-year-old man was arrested late Saturday in Hounslow. An 18-year-old male suspect was previously arrested in the departure area of the port of Dover, about 80 miles southeast of London. The arrests are a part of a major manhunt for the perpetrators of the attack, which left 30 people injured. The country's international terror alert remains at its highest.
We have a very considerable threat. My colleagues in the intelligence agencies would say that this is a shift in threat, it's not a spike. I won't go on in detail about that, but it is a changed threat. That does not, by any means, necessarily mean that people have to get used, in fact, God forbid that they should get used to repeated attacks. We're doing everything we can. We're working really closely with the government. There's clearly a lot of soul-searching that is going on and needs to go on about how we can really reduce this threat to a much, much lower level as soon as we possibly can.
That's news, but there is more on our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. Also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals or screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you, as well as Mix 96.9 FM. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Do have a great morning.